I'm Cat of Foxhole Films.
And I'm Makayla McIntosh of Siren of the Pacific Productions.
We're your hosts of the GateCrashers podcast.
Coming to you now. The GateCrashers theme is by Derek Graham Sound.
Let it play out. Podcasting is gutted. Like they ripped all the carpet out. They ripped all the cubicles out. They ripped all the paint out. I can't use it for the time being.
So now you look like me, like you're in a jail cell.
Yeah, except my laundry is behind me. If I open that door, it's a washer dryer.
That's nice.
Or my kitchen.
Laundry is nice.
It's just now if the dogs like see something outside and they bark, I'm SOL. That's what's going to happen.
Yeah, that's okay. That's okay. We have pets. If Archimedes starts meowing, that's just what we get.
If Willow could hear Archimedes meowing, Willow would want to adopt Archimedes. Willow sits on the couch now and looks for, like, we have a Thai spa right behind us, and they feed all the stray cats in the neighborhood. And so the first time Willow spotted it, she's like, oh my God, these are my best friends in the whole wide world. So now we can't take her outside without her wanting to go there. And so she sits now on the couch and watches for the cats to come in and then whines.
Isn't she also the one that took the stray kitten home to your mother?
Yeah.
She's just like, I am a cat lady.
She wants a cat so bad. Like, I think we're going to have to get her one.
We have to get her a kitty.
She needs her, like, we're joking, we got Willow for Simba, and now we're going to have to get a kitty for Willow.
Oh my God. If you give a moose a muffin, he's going to want some jam to go with it.
I've never heard that in my entire life.
That's the book my brother and I had. We did not have If You Give a Mouse a Cookie. We had the sequel, which was If You Give a Moose a Muffin. And I must say, the illustrations in that one, top tier. The moose is so big and the muffin is so little. And I
think we need to link this in the notes because I need to see this.
If you give a moose a muffin, we will. In fact, maybe we'll even put it right here. Maybe. That's too much tech.
We'll do it in post. Save it for a post. But today we're doing our hot takes episode. I feel like I should have made tea for this.
You should have. Yeah. And I tried not to think of answers. I just made a very short list. So we'll see.
Okay, what's the format? Are we ping-ponging? Are we, how are we deciding who goes first?
You go first. I think you go first.
I'm going first. Okay.
You ask one and then we both answer it. And then...
Are we asking or are we saying our hot take? Does that make sense?
I think you introduce the subject and or question. And if you'd like me to go answer first, or if you want to barrel right in, whichever.
Okay.
I'm
going to try to not
see
give
what
mine away.
Way the wind takes us.
Okay. We're going to start spicy, I think. Depending on who you are.
Mine are very easy going because I thought you were going to go hard. So this is good.
They aren't scandalous, I think. One could take down a whole industry maybe, but...
Okay, cool. Mine are very easygoing comparatively.
So yeah, what's I'm trying to figure out how to say this without giving away my hot take. What's your thoughts on short films?
That was going to be one of mine to you, but then I was like, that's too loaded. That I have for you then. That's so funny.
Great.
I think they are useful. I think they are useful for people to have worked on and made because it's like a little stepping stone. Some stories are short. Some stories do not need a full 90 minutes, 3 hours series. Some stories are just short and beautiful. But now having worked on a couple short films, I'm like, and maybe it's part of the industry, but part of me is feeling like, okay, what's the point of doing another one? Unless it's functioning as a proof of concept. It kind of even the one I just worked on for Foxhole, Sweet Tea, it's I wrote it. I was like, let's do it. And as I was working on it, I was like, this is pretty much only going to function as a business card for me. It's going to be if it gets into festivals, it gets into festivals. It's going to function as real footage, but there's nowhere to showcase short films, which is odd considering streaming services are the thing. It's they could be streamed because it wouldn't be really taking up space. It's just just add it, So I don't know. I think they serve a good function. People should have experience with them. They're kind of not training wheels, but it feels a little like that. Yeah, I think it was the second day on set for Sweet Tea. I was like, next time it should just be a feature. Because if I'm putting in this much work, I might as well put in a little more work or a lot more work. But, I might as well put in that extra work and make it like a full story to then maybe distribute or, go anywhere from there. What are your thoughts?
My thoughts are country specific. I will preface that. In Canada,
Ooh.
yeah. Well, because, okay, let's be like with short films, you really can't make money. There are some creative ways. I personally haven't had much success with like trying some of those other ways to make money yet. Just like getting a cause attached, trying to license it to
Mm,
universities, trying to like it's actually way more complicated than people think it is. It's like nonprofits
yeah.
may not actually have the money or want to put the money towards that. They want to put it directly in the programs, talking with you. It's just like people's if they can't like if it's not a documentary that they can like quantify like research if it's artistic or feel based it's actually really hard to like convince people that you should license this, you should spend money on this thing to help as a tool. Like I will circle back if I am ever successful with it and eat my own words for
I've
sure.
only had one friend I can think of that has had a short film kind of be picked up for distribution and like interest brought in for educational purposes after the fact. But it was ED related, so it did have something to spark a further conversation and could be used as an educational tool. And if I'm allowed to say it, it's Shirt Tugger by Noah Himmelstein and
Oh,
Noah
yeah, yeah, yeah.
Zachary. Yeah.
Yeah.
So
And it's funny, it's actually funny to hear that because the feedback I've gotten on an eating disorder related film is either like, we don't spend money on this, like all our money goes into outreach or goes into this, or like we're not allowed to take a specific stance on an eating disorder as like an eating disorder nonprofit, which has been fascinating.
that is fascinating.
It just it's interesting. Which I mean, Brian Radigan will be like, Let's bring back the days. Let's bring back the days before you went and saw a Pixar film. There was a little short,
Yes.
and they were
Yes.
so good. They were perfect.
Yes. And before that, like goofy cartoons before movies. Like, yes, like just a little something.
It's a
Would
little
love
like
that.
a little like it's like when you go see a band, right? Like you're going to see Taylor Swift, but to like warm up to warm up to Taylor Swift, Gracie Abrams or Sabrina Carpenter or like whoever comes out and does a shorter set, that it's not like it fits in like you as someone who
Yeah, yeah,
loves
yeah.
Taylor Swift, you might like this thing.
It sets up the world nicely. Like
Yeah.
Nighthawk does that. They don't just like first of all, I love trailers. I love like trailers before movies and everything. But Nighthawk does that really well. They have like such a cool curated just like they set like a mood board of like what you're about to experience in the movie with like shorts and commercials and all of these like animations beforehand and I love it. I love it so much.
I have seen some film festivals actually program that way. If like the feature is under 90, they'll put a short before it, which I think is kind of nice because you get like the
That is nice.
little twofold. But in terms of country specific, so in Canada, there is funding for short films. And like in Canada, you're proving trust to these bigger funding entities that by using their money to create a short film, and ideally you've probably made a short film without them, and then you get the funding for your second one. Hopefully you got 30, 40, 50, 60K that you can either do something that's higher concept, spread out on more days, whatever. It gets into some festivals, it gets some awards. Okay, well, now we're going to give you money to make a feature because you've
Yeah.
proven that you can take this budget and make it happen and it's good and you have artistic whatever. But in the US, like, we don't really have that.
Yeah.
Making a short or showing it doesn't translate really at all, actually, to making a feature. I would argue just now looking at how things have shifted, period, just like creators or who are really starting to take the attention economy. You look at like
Mhm.
verticals and micro dramas, or you look at directors and what they're making over time. Like, yes, Christopher Nolan did make a short film and that did translate, but we also can't take what was successful like 30 years ago and put it
Yeah.
today. And I think that's what's
Yeah, everything
hard
is changing so rapidly.
so rapidly. And so I think if you're going to make short films and you decide to, and then I haven't even gotten into the whole festival thing. And that's why I was like, I could take a whole industry down with this question. It's like, it's festivals. Kidding. YouTube, as we've learned, especially the last
Yeah.
month, it rewards like a reliable and consistent upload, which in what world can you continually get money to make even 10K short films,
Yeah.
even 5K short films, like
Yes.
especially higher concept 10, 20, 30, 40, 50. You can't pump that out every week. Like, unless you're Mr.
Yeah.
Beast or unless you're one of these YouTube creators that has brand sponsorship and like brands aren't going to sponsor you until you've demonstrated to them that you have an audience and you have an audience that's going to care about their product. So
Mhm.
if you are going to make short films, I feel like, me personally, and just what I've seen, I feel like they all need to fall under a brand and they need to be made in a way that can be consistent, which may not necessarily translate to the film world and you being successful at making a feature or you being successful at making a TV series. Like, I think there's some differences in those skill sets. And then my last thing before I get off this high horse, since I know we're like on this topic for 20 minutes, is like film festival fees are obnoxious. They are so obnoxious. And then I'm like,
They add up. They add up.
yeah, it's nice. Like a
Yeah.
festival might be like, here's your industry pass for the festival, or here's your ticket for your screening, or whatever.
Mhm.
But it's like hotels and travel and food. And it's like, we met a filmmaker at Series Fest whose film had been in like every dream festival you can get into. And she was like, I'm broke and I've never been more broke. So I'm like,
Yeah.
creative payoff isn't always like causation, correlation right away. You don't always see an immediate benefit. There are like things that can
Or
happen down the
sometimes you
line.
don't see benefit. Sometimes it's
Yeah,
just a miss, which isn't your
that's
fault.
it.
It could just be like the season. Your film doesn't fit into the season of what other people are making and what complements and what time.
Well, and ask the average person, not a filmmaker, the last short film they watched, or like ask them to name 5 short films. Can they? Can they? And that is where I rest my case that I feel like, now, do I think that before making a feature film or as a producer, do I think you should jump into the deep end as a infant? No. It is good to work
Yes.
out your skills on and it is training wheels to work out your skills, but I don't think there's a dangerous place where it can be easy to stay in short film land for a really long time and
Yeah.
never think bigger than that, or just be a work for hire. And it's like, cool, you've done all these cool things, but do these thread together in any meaningful way when we are living in a time right now that your power is in owning an audience?
Yeah. Okay. Well, I have a follow-up. Okay, this is not one I wrote down, but this is just continuing the conversation. So, you having created your first feature as a writer, producer, star, and then, back-end producer of working on distribution and everything. What are your like immediate takeaways from that experience?
So much. I think, especially if you made a short film, people know how hard it is to make a feature. They understand that it is like where people say a short film is dating. And sometimes that can be a good way to meet your collaborators that you work with for life or whatever, work out kinks, who knows. A feature is a marriage. You are signing up to be married for a really long time or in a common law relationship for a long time. But it is something that we could distribute it. We could have full
Mhm.
theater screenings and had multiple screenings. I could make a budget back and inviting people to come to those screenings. Not that you can't do that with a short film, but like, what else are you going to package in with a little 15-minute short film or a 10-minute short film to get people to spend some money to show up and see it? Like, there's other things you got to put around that are also exciting and entertaining or educational or enticing or whatnot. And I think too, from an acting perspective, a feature film is you can't hide. You can't hide for 90 minutes. So you have to understand and you have to be compelling to watch for 90 minutes and
Yeah.
truthful and pace yourself in a way that is really different than a short film and different than a TV series, but I think they correlate a little bit more than
Do you feel like
a
you can
short
hide
film.
easier as an actor in a short film? Because there's less screen time, so
Yeah,
your
it's more
tricks might
memorable.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah, and the journey is different. And just because you can tell a good short story doesn't mean you can tell a good feature story, because really a feature story is multiple. You can't just have one plot. You have to have multiple subplots going and multiple things that make it interesting over 90 minutes.
Mhm.
in a way that hopefully if you've told a good short story, there's a beginning, a middle, and an end. If you left the end you know, a little bit ambiguous or that's fine. And it's not that you necessarily can hide. Like I don't think you can ever hide as an actor. It's just it's a little bit easier to get through a short film where maybe someone isn't as compelling or isn't as it can work in a way that's different than trying to hold someone's attention for 90 minutes. That's just a
Yeah.
different skill and something that you have to spend a lot more time diving deep and studying of like how am I really going on this character's journey for 90 minutes?
Toot toot.
And you can sell it. Like, we can actually make money in a number of ways. Like, and I still would even argue it
Yeah.
with a feature. Like, how are you, is it falling under a way to build an audience for other projects? Like, how are you building
Yeah.
your audience? How are you thinking outside of the box? How are things tying together? I just think we live in a different time and in an interesting time than 10, 15, 20, 30 years ago.
What is one thing continuing along this path because it's very interesting and I personally haven't made my own feature, so this is like lovely and thrilling. What is the number one thing moving into your next experience for whatever your next feature is? What is one thing you know off the top of your head you would do differently approaching the next one?
Definitely a lot of things, but I would be thinking of audience a lot sooner. I
Mm.
think you almost feel like you have to wait till the film is done, and actually it's too late at that point. I would have gotten way more BTS, way more to roll out with and before the film and content to post and like interviewing actors on set and interviewing different people on set that were a part of it. There's so much more I think I would have done with that. That now I look back and like, wow, we got photos. That was cute. That was great, but, like, we really are living in, like, a very video dominant society. I think I also would have cut a vertical trailer because the horizontal just doesn't translate on TikTok or Instagram or anything the
Yeah.
way you would want it
Yeah.
to. Let's see, what else would I have really done differently? I think there is also a twofold in I've just learned a lot more, like, about the camera and about what's
Mhm.
exciting cinematically, but I'm glad I got to do a feature to learn through that, but now I think there's just ways I would have, like, taken more risks, if that makes sense,
Yeah,
to it is so different watching something on a laptop than watching something in a
that's true.
theater. It really is.
That's true. Yeah. And I think there is so much value in these short films, in your first feature, that they're the fact that you have things that you take away and you're like, "Oh, I wish," or "next time." I think that that is such an indicator of growth and advancement, and that's I feel what I know I strive for with every project is I only want to be better for the next one. So I think it is super valuable to, like, have these feelings about your projects.
And I will say too, and I mean, that's where film festivals are so complicated is like it's so expensive. The chain to get distribution is getting smaller and smaller and smaller and smaller no matter how great of a film you've made. Is it worth it to pursue the film festival route at all and wait and wait and wait? Or is it just worth it to figure out your own connections and your own ways to get something out there? But the thing I will say, while I've heard a couple casting directors say, like, hey, if someone got nominated for Best Actor in a short film at like a festival name I recognize, I am going to take that seriously as like this person is probably a good
Yeah.
actor. So, like, I mean, I'm not saying that like you can get away with bad acting in short films. Like, you have to be good.
No, no, no.
But I will say there's a number of things I've auditioned for where it'll ask, even when I'm submitting or whatever, it'll say, like, how many feature films have you led? And there's just something different. And then usually I'll get the audition because I can say now I've had two leads in feature films or like, and even with casting, even if they can't come to the screening, they almost always watch the trailer and they send me a message back about the trailer. And that's a win.
That is a win. That's
It's a win.
invaluable feedback.
Yeah. So it's
I love
worth it.
that.
Like, keep following up to casting and offer them a ticket. And even if they can't go, like, they'll probably watch the trailer.
That's great advice.
Well, we've spent 22 minutes on one topic. One hot
Okay, okay, okay.
take.
Well, you know what? We can also, like, revisit this list at another
I know.
time.
I'm like, we need a whole episode on this.
Okay, I initially said top 5, but I'm gonna say top 3. This is a nice, easy one. What are your top 3 movies? Doesn't have to be the best movies. Your top 3. You can watch them every day. What, like What are they?
How's this a hot take?
I think it's a hot take. Well, mine are
think it's a
certainly
hot
hot
take.
takes because I don't know that people would agree.
Oh, this is hard. This is mean.
It is hard.
Flashdance is nostalgic for me.
Yes, so what I wanted. This is exactly what I wanted.
Like, I'm not kidding you. I switched dance studios and I was like, I will never be as good as those girls. Like, la la la. And so my mom takes me home and like she wouldn't play me the whole movie because I was 10 and like there's a lot of sex scenes. A lot of, but
Your mom's
she
like,
goes,
close your eyes. Wait, fast forward.
she plays the What a Feeling dance, and the scene right before where he's like, I got you the audition and like, go in and like where she
Yeah, yeah,
has
yeah.
to start over too. And they're all like staring at her and they're like, she doesn't have the ballet training and this and that. So that will live in my mind as like a peak, 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 peak. It's such a great film too. I just love it. It's
This
so
makes me
good.
so happy. Yes.
So it's like top for me because it's so nostalgic, I think. I love a good underdog thing.
Yes.
Oh, this is so hard. Pick an actual favorite.
You don't have
I
to do
love
favorite. That's why I said top 3.
Okay,
You do
Greta
not have to
Gerwig's
put them in order.
Greta Gerwig's Little Women was brilliant. I thought it was so brilliant, which then I'm like, I love Lady Bird and like I could go on for like 10 years about all those. If I just want a feel good movie, which I think it's in my top 3. No, it's just in a top 10 somewhere. Mamma Mia 2.
I don't know what I was expecting. It was not that, but I'm so happy. Feel
I
good
think I
movies
watched a lot in the pandemic. I can't take Cher seriously when she comes out. But every other musical number about that film is great. I love Meryl Streep. I love Amanda Seyfried.
Yes.
It's just, you can't not be happy when you watch that and also cry. And like, who doesn't love ABBA? So, yeah.
Yeah. Feel good. I love that. Those are the answers I was hoping for. Okay. Okay. My top 3. I think certainly Who Framed Roger Rabbit is top 3. Maybe even number 1 if I'm being honest.
Is
I
this
love
why
the
you were a
fact-
rabbit in cul-de-sac?
I've been a rabbit so many times on film. It's very odd. It's very odd. Maybe. But no, I love the practical effects. I love the cell animation. I think I like the stylized world. Like, I think I've always, as a kid, enjoyed everything about it. So Who Framed Roger Rabbit, Kill Bill Volume 1. And
Ooh.
I know it's all one movie, but Volume 1, when it came out, I just remember just watching it like every day, loving it. I love the time breaks in it. I love fight directing. I love the action sequences and I think
Yep.
they're like
Yep.
really exquisite in that one specifically. The run with Oren Ishii is like brilliant cinematically too. I love the way it's shot. There's so many. Yeah, I think that's one movie that like I think one of the first movies I can remember noticing the cinematography in and like I was like, "Ooh, that's cool." That and Shaun of the Dead. Like
Yes.
the cutting in Shaun of the
Yes.
Dead, I remember being like, "That was a good cut. I've never had that
Yeah.
thought before." So
Ooh.
yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
And then third, another top 3, something I could watch every day sort of thing. My Cousin Vinny. My Cousin Vinny. My Cousin Vinny,
Yeah.
because it is an almost perfect script. There is one kind of loose end that just kind of, you just have to be like, yeah, okay. But it is exquisitely written, acted. I love it. Joe Pesci like punches upward and flies out of frame. Like it's everything about it. Marissa Tomei. Yeah. I think it's an
Yeah.
almost perfect script.
I love
Such
that.
good storytelling. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. I'm going to go with that. I'm sweating.
I know. I'm like, there are definitely like indie and artsy films that I like love, but I'm like, some of them it's like I can only watch them like once a year because they're so
Yes.
intense, but I love
Yeah.
them.
And like,
Yeah.
I love horror films. There are certainly horror
Yes.
films even in my top 5, but like, I have a hard time answering like, what's my favorite horror film?
I know.
Because I will just put on Shudder and just go like randomize. Like I will watch the good, the bad,
Whatever.
the ugly.
Yeah.
Yeah. The camp, like obviously the camp.
Cat lives for the camp.
I do live for the camp.
I love it.
Yeah. Ooh, that one made me sweaty. The
I
short
didn't know
film
if that was a
question
hot
did
take
that.
one.
It feels like a hot take. I feel like having to defend your top 3 feels a little like a hot take. Like, why is that one of your favorites?
Why?
Yeah.
I'm like,
literal hot take.
Because it's not like Michael Phelps touching the touchpad and beating people. I don't know.
Yeah.
There's
Yeah,
not
exactly. It's not like I was faster. That's quantifiable.
Yes. Versus this. Okay. I am going to I'll save my last one. This one, what do you think about QR codes at film festivals for the filmmakers?
I think they're so smart. They're so smart. I don't remember who exactly was giving out like essentially business cards with the QR code app that we ended up having to download. What was it called? Do you remember what it was called?
I don't remember. Yeah. I know who did, but yeah, I think what it's called. But okay, wait, let me
Blink. Blink.
clarify. Love that. Let me clarify my
Yeah.
question. QR codes to tip the filmmakers at film festivals. This is new that I know of. They were talking about it on No Film School.
I don't know that I've personally either seen, maybe I've seen, but have been like, haven't noticed what it was. I don't know. Interesting. Because one assumes that you have paid to get into the festival. So then you're tipping on top of it. Though I also, as someone in the service industry, I also am a big fan of tipping. So I would say if I really enjoyed a film and someone had a QR code in the lobby, I might donate something. Like probably not as much as a ticket price because I've already paid the ticket price, but I would probably donate like $5 or something. Though I do think that that is to everyone's discretion. I certainly don't think that that's like a necessary thing to do unless I mean,
I'm thinking it came out of, at least from listening to filmmakers,
mm,
film festival entry fees are really expensive. Making the film is really expensive. They were trying to think of creative ways to make their money back. And so they put a QR code on their actual film at the end where you could scan it at the end if you wanted to tip
oh,
the filmmakers,
like up on the
actors.
screen.
Yeah, it was up on the screen.
So theoretically, any audience that sees that, like, even if it gets distribution,
Well, if the
interesting.
distribution lets them, they may not. I don't know that that's
Yeah,
been
yeah, yeah.
confirmed yet. But I'm like, wow, the percentages are so terrible for
That's what
like
I think that's
stuff.
my reticence. That's my reticence is that no, I think people should be paid a living wage. Like artists should be paid for their art.
And when I play at a bar, we put out like a tip bucket and QR
Yeah,
codes and stuff like as a
yeah,
musician, like, and people tip us. When you go to the hair salon, we tip someone to do our hair.
for
Like, I
sure,
mean,
for sure.
yes, tipping culture is like out of control. It would be nice if people just got paid to
For sure.
do what they do.
But also, just so it's said, you stiffing your server or your bartender because you think they should be paid a living wage, you tipping them that 20% just means that they are tipping out their barbacks the 20% that you stiffed them. So it's not a victimless crime. So yeah, just being a little gruntled here. Sorry.
Yeah. I mean, I
bartend
would go
tomorrow.
nuts if I had to. If I had, I don't know if I could afford to like tip on every single film I saw at a film festival, but
No, I certainly would not have the means to, for
yeah,
sure. That is very interesting. I am sad that that is the solution, is that the everyday person will subsidize the art because I wish it was somehow better. I wish there was,
yeah,
a
the
national theater
systems.
or
Yeah.
something like that to help foster American artists.
Yep. Like Ireland. Anyway,
That is very exciting. That is very
what's your
exciting.
last one?
My last one. Well, my last one was going to be what are your thoughts on short films? but we already did that one. So
I did that one.
I did have a backup one that is what is a job that you think every human should do at least once?
So this is not film specific. This is anything.
Not film specific. Yeah, not film
Okay.
specific, but it can be.
I think work in the service industry, like in
That was
general.
mine.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know that I
Learn how to be a good person.
Yeah. Yeah. It's not your server's fault that your food isn't coming out. Like 12 people caught out of the kitchen.
Yeah, and there are so many skills that one learns as a server or a bartender. There's a lot of like teamwork things, there's a lot of communication, there's a lot of communicating to different groups and people and then customers and clients, and I feel like it teaches a good amount of patience and empathy that I think if everyone had that,
Yeah.
we'd be a lot more pleasant to one another.
It would be so much better. Yeah.
For sure.
Well, I feel like my last one kind of flows a little in a different weird way. This is my, you know what? I'm just going to, no, I'll ask you.
Do it.
Do you think it's possible to just be an actor or actress anymore?
I think maybe for certain A plus 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 list people, but then even certain people up top tier are also producing, are also directing, are also
They
ambassadors.
own like a beauty brand. Yeah.
Yeah. So
Or
I do think
tequila.
that, yeah, so many people owning tequila brands. I'm like, okay. But I think that as artists throughout history have always had to be multifaceted and scrappy, whether or not you realize it. You have had to do that. I certainly feel it as a freelancer in New York City. You know, people are like, "Oh, do you do this?" If I need the money, I say, "Yes, I do." So I feel like, yeah, I feel like if I was to say meet someone that wanted to get into acting for the first time, an adult could be someone, a second act actor, as Audrey Moore likes to say, someone shifting from like their adult life into now acting. My advice to them would be make sure that you still have income. Do not expect acting to be the thing that just like sustains you. And the thing that gives you income could be, if you're very lucky, something like YouTube. It could be, which is still a ton of work for people.
Yes, being a
Kelsey
content
Priest.
creator.
Yeah, content creating. I am very impressed by people that have successful followings and are successful content creators. So no, I don't think that you can just be an actor. Um, and I think the sooner I got less butthurt about that as an actor and realized, okay, I've done my craft work. I'm still going to prioritize my craft work all along the way, but I'm also going to add in a couple hours of business and I'm going to be a business person. You know, as soon as you add in, okay, this does not replace the art still has to sustain, you know. I still have to do my voice lesson. I still have to go to the gym. I still have to like practice this new fighting style. Like it adds up to here what you have to do, but like something in there has to be, I have to treat this as a business and then I have to go bartend. So just kind of, but the sooner you can like get your head around that and just be like, "Oh, that's just how I do this forever." Then it's like, okay,
Yeah. Yeah.
yeah, but you
Love
shouldn't
that.
begrudge the fact that you have to also make a living. Because you cannot act if you're scared about becoming unhoused.
You also like, and I've heard now so many people say this, and I'm glad you also can't be an actor if you don't have human experience. Like, how are you going to be a server if you've never served or at least observed or been a like you're always going to serve a story in a better way when you have lots of life experience with
Yeah.
you to pull from. There's
Yeah.
no amount of acting training and imagining that is going to make you walk in the shoes of someone as actually walking in those shoes sometimes is going to do, or like going through the ups and downs of life and experiencing the highs and the lows of all of it.
Yeah.
Not that you have to go through the exact thing in order to play it, but life gives you experience. And like,
Yeah.
I even was just listening to, was I listening or I think it was either Tepper or her podcast partner said like a lot of shows now want to hire someone from the actual profession or at some point has done it. Like,
Yeah.
you can be a lawyer and then like someday you're going to be a better lawyer than someone who wasn't, or you're going to
Yeah.
be in the writer's room because you can share actual experience. Like, let
Yeah.
me imagine or spend all this time researching. And imagination is important, yes, and that's great for like our
For
fantasy
sure.
worlds and sci-fi and horror and all of that. But there is just something to be said about living life too that is good for us versus
One.
obsessing. One should. And it also takes the pressure off. I think the other thing that needs to be said is when there is money on the line, and whether it's millions of dollars for a studio or it's $10,000 for a little filmmaker that's going to feel like $100 million to them, because that's the same. People have to trust that you can do the job. And it's really hard to take a chance on someone new because you don't have a proven track record. You don't
Yeah.
have real footage. You don't have anything that can prove that this $10,000 isn't going to be a total waste. And I think when
Yeah.
you can like reframe that way a little bit, it takes the pressure off of you of like it puts perspective. And then like what can you do to prove yourself that you can be an asset to this thing, or what do you need to do, or what do you need to invest in? Like no one's going to hand you a scalpel to be a surgeon and be like, you took a couple surgeon classes, let's go.
Yeah, it's so real.
So
It's
I
so
think
real.
when you can reframe it that way, but no, I don't think you can just be an actor anymore for a number of reasons, but I think you've covered a bunch of them. Hopefully I've covered a few of them. So stop telling yourself that. It's stupid. It's not going to get you anywhere.
We did it, I think.
We did it.
We did some hot takes.
Hot
Also
takes,
known
hot
as
takes.
conversation.
If there's hot takes you would like us to hot take, send us your
Takes and
hot takes.
cakes.
We'll make some hot cakes next time. Some hot.
Hot cakes, hot tea.
Yeah.
All right. Well, should we have Derek play us out?
Yeah.
All right. Tune in next week for our next episode.
I feel like we should do these once a quarter, so everyone send us your hot takes. Okay, bye.
Yeah, give us your hot takes. Do our work for us, please.